guys, Tiffany Ofili Porter here, where I discuss all things life after sport. I just finished washing my Sisterlocks and I'm getting ready to go to a retightening. So I'm going to bring you guys along. I'm going to ask my sister loctician some questions, and it's going to be kind of a vlog style, but it's also going to be useful in case any of you guys are considering getting on your Sisterlock journey. You can kind of see what a realistic Sisterlock retightening or maintenance appointment looks like. So let's go ahead and just get into the video. Come on. All right, so I am in the chair. I'm at my retightening maintenance Sisterlock appointment. This is my sister loctician, Melissa. She has been my loctician since I moved here to Kansas City. So this is gonna be a little bit of a question and answer, chit-chatty conversation while she is doing my retightening. So Melissa, could you tell the people a little bit about your own personal Sisterlock journey?
Yeah, well, I guess when I decided to do it, I actually saw a coworker who was at my job and she had Sisterlocks. And I had no idea what they were, so I was inquiring, of course, all in her head, you know how we do.
Yes.
Wanted to be nosy. And so she told me what they were. And so it took me about 5 years doing all that researching and going on and all that stuff. And then eventually my best friend called me up on the telephone. And she told me she had scheduled an appointment. And I was like, scheduled an appointment for what? And she was like, to get my Sisterlocks. So there was no way I was going to let her go and get her Sisterlocks, and I wasn't going to have none too.
Yes.
So that was 7 years ago.
And here you are.
And here I am.
And they're so beautiful. Her hair is super long. And you recently got it cut, right?
I did cut it, so it's back at my shoulders.
Just imagine that, 7 years later. And would you say that this is the longest that your hair has ever been?
Has ever been.
Yep, that's been my experience. I'm right at 6 years personally, and I've never had hair on my back. Like it's been just such an amazing journey. Would you say that it's freed up a lot of time for you to do other things?
Oh gosh, yes. So I used to be loose natural is what I would call it before I got Sisterlocks. And so I was that way for about 15 years. And I thought that was freeing to not have to, be able to do your own hair. You're not going to the hair salon and, all of those things. No, when I got Sisterlocks, that was free. I got to get rid of combs and brushes. I didn't need all those hair care products.
Yes.
And then you don't spend a lot of time deciding on what do I need to do with my hair.
Exactly.
So it took all of that away.
So would you say that's like probably some of the biggest benefits for you and the reason why you, same. It's been so liberating for me.
I'll never go back.
Same.
That
is how I feel. Before I got mine done, I was like, man, this is a commitment because it's like to take them down. Yeah, you can technically take them down, but people just cut them off.
Right.
And I was the person, I've told them before on this channel, that used to wear a different wig every single day.
That was me.
So when I got locks, people were like, what are you doing? You like to change your hair
every month.
And now you are making this lifelong commitment to lock your hair. But it's been the complete opposite for me. It's been super versatile. You can wear your hair straight, curly, crinkly, up, down, ponytail, bun.
True.
That's actually one of the things, because the grid pattern is there, you can part your hair in different ways, but it's just been a very positive experience. So if any of you are on your Sisterlock quest, I would say go ahead and take the plunge.
Yeah, because my only regret is not doing it sooner.
Same. I've literally said that before.
Yeah, I should have never waited 5 years. But it's like you said, we got so used to always changing up our hairstyles, and that I think that was part of my holdup.
Yeah, 100%. So you've had your locks for 7 years. When did you begin actually doing retightenings and establishments?
So what made me decide to even jump in it, because I'm actually a nurse by trade, so I'm an RN. And the only thing that made me jump in to do Sisterlocks was that my mom wanted them too. And so we live in 2 different cities. And so she was driving 2 hours and a half to get up here. And my mother's in her 70s. And so I didn't want her having to drive in the winter time. And so I went and took the class. And so that's what got me to, by default, of becoming a Sisterlock. I'm still a trainee, but maybe one of these days I'll be a consultant.
You know what? That's actually a very good thing that you mentioned. Can you kind of explain to my audience what the difference between a Sisterlock trainee and a Sisterlock consultant is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a Sisterlocks trainee is anyone who goes and actually takes the Sisterlock courses, which you actually find the Sisterlock courses going to their website on sisterlocks.com. And once you go through the class and you complete the class, then you're considered a trainee. You don't actually become an official consultant until you have turned in 3 qualifying heads to the headquarters to say, yes, I know how to do this grid pattern and that you're doing it correctly. Because that's literally what Sisterlocks is. It's just your grid pattern.
Would you say a Sisterlock trainee commands like less payment than a Sisterlock consultant, or not really?
Well, if they could in the beginning. So like when we first get started, in order for you to get those clients coming to you, they do recommend that you kind of start at a lower rate. That is the recommendation I did. Not all will, but most times they do.
Okay. Yeah. And you've been doing Sisterlocks, or like actually doing them for how long now?
It's been, I say 4 years.
Okay.
About 4 years.
So you ain't no rookie. You a veteran.
No. See, I think because, like I said, my trade is nursing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. And so me not knowing, I'm not a cosmetologist, and so parting has been my downfall. So that's the reason why I don't do installments, but I do the retightings, and I know how to maintain the hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is what I wanted to learn so that I can maintain my mom.
Exactly. So you actually mentioned installation. That's a very good segue to my next question.
Okay.
Back when I got mine done 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how much I paid, but I know it's a lot less than what they charge. Do you remember how much you paid for your establishment back 7 years ago?
It was about $650.
Do you remember how long your hair was?
It was short. So I think I might have had about 5
Okay.
or 6 inches.
Yep, I had 5 inches of hair as well. And I want to say I paid between like $500 and $700 myself. But now, can you speak to how much they're charging for establishments?
It's different. So they have started to come up. And I know in our area, I think the base pay is about $1,000 is where they start at. But the cost of Sisterlocks is always based off of the person's head.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important that we actually do consultations so that we can actually look at that person's head and evaluate it. Because the price for installation is based off of your length and your density of your hair. Like she has a lot of density.
And you said I have a lot of locks too. I remember you mentioned
that's why you have a lot of locks, because you have a lot of hair.
Yeah. You mentioned that it starts at $1,000, and that's based off of the length of your hair too, right?
That is. So that's starting out short. So like how me and you stated that we probably had about 4 or 5 inches of hair. That's starting at probably that price.
Yeah. Yeah. My girlfriend her hair is down to her back.
And they would probably charge her over $2,000 to $3,000.
Yes, that's exactly how much they quoted her. And she was like, yeah, I don't know about it. I'm like, I don't blame you. That is a very...
And they'll tell you to cut it.
Yeah.
If you want to pay less, you just cut your hair. It's going to grow back anyway.
Yeah.
So it's all in what you're comfortable with doing. So we'll say that.
Yeah, that is very real. Can you speak to how long on average retightnings take you?
Mm-hmm. So my retightenings for me, they take me on average about 2.5 to 3 hours. Most locticians only take 2 hours.
Okay. Yep.
To do it. Your head, yeah. you're a little longer for me, but that's okay.
I'm gonna actually give like a start and a finish time, just so you guys get like a very realistic view of what retightenings look like. So we started at 11:53 or so today. It is 1:28 right now, and we'll see how long it takes. Now, I will say that it has been 5 weeks since my last retightening. And Melissa, would you say that the length of time in between each retightening affects how long
yeah, and how fast your hair grows?
Yes. Yeah. So I think today I typically keep a 6-week retightening schedule personally. Is that how it is for you as well?
I do every 4 weeks.
Oh, you do?
I go every 4 weeks.
Oh, I don't even think I knew that.
I'll go this Thursday.
Oh wow! Is it because you like that fresher look, right?
I do. So I go every 4 weeks.
So that's something to consider as well. So most locticians want you to do it at least every 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, I can go anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I have, like, during the pandemic, I went like weeks and weeks and weeks because nobody was taking clients, understandably. But I've gone before. Most recently with you, I think we were at 7 or 8 weeks one time, and that retightening took a minute. We had to kind of because of me, I had to reschedule, and I remember I didn't even realize it at the time. I'm like, man, I've been on this chair for a minute, and then when I went home and looked at my calendar, I realized it was because my last retightening had been 8 weeks prior. So that is something to consider. Now, can we also just kind of touch on, because I have people who watch these videos who are considering getting Sisterlocks themselves, and I'm just here to be a resource and to be helpful. Can you talk to how much typically, on average, you versus other Sisterlocticians charge for retightening? We talked about establishments already.
So that too is going to be based off of your location, because all locticians are different, depending on what the prices are going for there. But for our area, we kind of start out at $125, $135 is usually a start off. And that's usually typically for your 2-hour retie. But it can go up from there. Yep.
So something to also consider, because sometimes people are like, oh, I want Sisterlocks without having the full picture of what that looks like. So yes, you might want to get Sisterlocks, but if you can't commit to maintaining and paying for your hair every 6 weeks, on average about $150 upwards, depending on the length and the time and all that stuff, then they might not necessarily be for you. One video I do think I'm going to do is a comparison of Sisterlocks versus Microlocs, because people sometimes don't even realize that there is a distinction. I'll get into that in that video. But sometimes with Microloc retightenings, those tend to be a little bit cheaper, right, Melissa?
They will, because they're Microlocs. They're different.
Yeah. And a lot of times Microlocs can even be larger, right?
They can.
Yeah.
They're just considered micro because they're smaller than the traditional locks. Microlocs can be started all kinds of ways. Sisterlocks is always interlocking. So that's one big difference. And then I was going to tell you too, when we were talking earlier about the maintenance of the hair and then deciding when to go get it done. Some people like to try to go longer with Sisterlocks. You can't, not like with traditional locks. Because people with traditional locks, they might go a whole year or years before going to go get their next, retightening. You can't do that with Sisterlocks because you're interlocking.
Yeah.
So you have to go at least every 4 to however long. I would say 8 weeks to me would be tops, but then it's going to take you forever.
Yes.
To get it done.
All right, so I am done with my retightening. Thank you, Melissa. It looks beautiful. You can see my scalp. I'm loving it. But I just wanted to say it is 6:34. We started at 11:53, so just over 6.5 hours. Now we will say this retightening took a little bit longer than normal because 1, we were talking to y'all, and then 2, you were trying out a new tool, right?
Yeah, I was trying out a new
tool. So that kind of just
made it a little longer.
Typically, we're at usually like that 5.5 hour mark. But I just want to say, for any of you guys looking for a Sisterloctician, like I recently traveled from Michigan, Ohio, and Kansas City, go on sisterlock.com. You'll be able to find a loctician who can hook you up the way she hooked me up. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to do more Sisterlock content, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you'll be on the lookout for that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
See you later.